Welcome back, fans, to the ECHL Insider. I am your host, Garrett Hunter. Excited that you decided to join us for our Christmas-themed episode. So let's get right to it with some scores from last week. The Mariners knocked off the Adirondack Thunder 3-1 and 5-2 in two upset victories for Maine in Glens Falls next week. They will look to take that momentum into the upcoming week. The Tahoe Night Monsters finished off a sweep at home over the Utah Grizzlies, including a 7-3 beatdown of the Grizzlies on Sunday afternoon. Grizzlies just cannot keep the puck out of their own net in the last few games, giving up lots of goals, and it was very evident of that throughout this series. Up next, the Allen Americans and Fort Wayne Komets played a very fun game this weekend, with the Komets winning a 4-3 decision in overtime in the Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And finally, the Wichita Thunder had a goal-scoring party in the Black Hills with a 9-2 win over the Rush on Friday night, a very impressive win for the Wichita Thunder. Well, now we have some ECHL news to get to, with coaching changes being made. We will start up in Worcester, where Bob Duraney, the former head coach, has now been named the head of scouting for the Railers, and taking his place behind the bench will be Nick Tuzzolino. He will step in now as the head coach. Used to be on staff with the Savannah Ghost Pirates, if that name sounds familiar, last season, but now he will be the head bench boss of the Worcester Railers. And in the Black Hills of Rapid City, South Dakota, a change has been made, as Chad Costello will be named the associate coach because of the unfortunate news of Scott Burt. He had to step down for medical reasons, so he might come back eventually, because Costello was named the associate coach, not the new head coach. So we will see, but our thoughts and prayers are with Scott Burt through his medical issues. Well, now getting to our Christmas episode, instead of the top 5 games of the week, we will have Santa's naughty and nice list to go along with Christmas. 3 teams that made Santa's nice list, 3 teams that made Santa's naughty list. So let's get right to it. Starting with the naughty list, the Utah Grizzlies. Yes, it has been a disappointing start out west for Utah. They are winless in their last 13 games, one of those being an overtime loss, 12 being a regulation loss. They have struggled immensely in the start of this season. They gave up 10 to Kansas City last week. We saw that score as well as the goalie fight. I think that goalie fight was kind of symptomatic of how the season's gone. A lot of frustration starting to boil over in Utah, as they are just not getting the results that they have been looking for. Next, the Kalamazoo Wings. They have struggled in the Central Division this season so far. In a Central Division that's really good, you got to get an early jump on the division, and they have just struggled to win close games, struggled on the road lately, and they have not been able to put up a lot of points in the bank. So with that, they are sitting at 6th place in the Central Division, trying to pick up points here before they go into the Christmas break. And last on Santa's naughty list, and it is last for a reason, the Cincinnati Cyclones. Currently sitting in last in the ECHL League rankings with only 3 wins through 21 games. They are 3-15-3 this season. And when through 21 games, that's a big chunk out of your season. To only, be able to be victorious in 3 of those is just not going to get it done. Just to be completely honest, they have struggled so much in their first few games, and a lot of it, they're not getting blown out as much as they're just losing close games, just not being able to put together a full 60-minute effort in Cincinnati so far. Watching their games, you can just kind of tell. You'll see a lot of good things throughout some games, but they're just not able to put together a 60-minute effort very many times. They did once this year, I would say, a 5-0 win over the Wings, but other than that, just not a good 60-minute effort I've really seen out of Cincinnati this year. Well, now turning to the nice list for Santa. Santa put 3 teams on his nice list, And first, he started with the 3-time Kelly Cup champion, the Florida Everblades. You know, Santa really likes the Everblades and how they've been playing over the last few years. Florida, a league leading right now 36 points. They have just won at a ridiculous rate, really, to start the year. And throughout the last 4 seasons, I would say this is the best start that we've seen from the Everblades. The last 2 seasons, barely making it into the playoffs and then having that run to the Kelly Cup. But right now, they have just started sprinting right out of the gate from October all the way now through mid-December. They have looked very solid throughout the beginning of their season. Next, Santa put on his nice list the Wheeling Nailers. Santa likes the Wheeling Nailers because the Wheeling Nailers do not lose in regulation. Throughout their first few games, they have only lost 3 games in regulation. Through, I believe, 21 games played, they have only lost 3 in regulation, 1 in overtime. They are just stacking up the points in the North Division, currently at the top in the North. And, you know, a lot of questions for this Wheeling team coming into the season. New division, how are they going to respond? A lot of new pieces on this team. How are they going to fit together? And Wheeling has just come out of the gate sprinting like Florida and have just dominated this new division that they're in the North. I mean, you're seeing opponents that you've never seen for maybe possibly years, you know? So teams that you haven't seen for a while, you don't know how they play, you don't know their skill set, and it hasn't mattered at all. Wheeling has just dominated their stretch through these early first 20 or so games. And last on Santa's nice list, the South Carolina Stingrays. Santa is a big fan of Jared Nightingale's crew up in South Carolina and North Charleston. They have put together a great team so far this season. A ton of new pieces in North Charleston this year for the Stingrays, and a new head coach in Jared Nightingale. They have just all fit together just amazingly. You would think that this team has been, you know, consistent. Like seeing them play, you would think that this has been a consistent roster for the last 2.5 seasons. But no, this is a lot of new guys in this organization, and they have played lights out for their new head coach, and really just impressive and fun to see for the Stingrays as they have looked very strong over their first 20 or so games. Well, we hope you enjoyed our Christmas-themed episode. Hope you have a lot of great times with friends and family over the holiday. Just so you know, we will be off next week for the holiday, so we will not have an episode. But in 2 weeks, we will resume with our top 5 games of the week. So we hope you'll join us for that. Now, be sure to check out our Fight of the Week. Got another dandy for you. And then after that, make sure you hit that like button below if you haven't already. And we will see you in 2 weeks for more great ECHL action.
His stick. Cincinnati the other way. Nice check by L.A. Grissom. And then Voigt puts his hand around Grissom. More stuff now. And now Cincinnati's going to get the original penalty. Grissom is going to drop the gloves for the first time as an Admiral. L.A. Grissom tackles the Cyclone to the ground in Rhett Parsons. Well, we knew something was going to come out of that scrum. There was a lot of hand-holding and a lot of face-walking.